Today on Science Fridays with John, we're going to learn two important words. We're going to learn the word magnetic force and viscosity. We're going to use water. We're going to use a can of Pepsi, some canola oil, and then lastly, we're going to add some baking powder to our water. You're going to want to see what happens when we use liquid and magnets together. You're not going to want to miss this experiment. Hi everyone, it's John, the science guy, and welcome once again to my friendly lab on another great Saturday morning. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open my magnet, and these magnets you can get at any local hardware store. So let's go to our paper clips, and I'm just going to count out some paper clips here. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do 6. You might say, John, well, what does it matter if one has a few less or a few more? Big difference, because now you're affecting the experiment, and that could possibly change its outcome. And thus your hypothesis may be inconclusive because your experiment conditions were altered. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some water, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop these magnets in there. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my magnets here. It's really strong. I'm going to pull it apart, and you can see the magnet there, and you're going to see that this isn't really doing much. I'm going to go ahead and take 2. Okay, you see how the 2 magnets is actually starting to pull the magnets up, but one magnet, just to show you again, was not strong enough to get through the plastic of the glass. So my hypothesis originally was that I was going to need at least 2 magnets to be able to move the paper clips at all. I'm now going to try it with 3. Okay, works well. I'm going to put all 6 on. Once I have enough magnetic force, whoa, what's that word? Yeah, another important word. Magnetic force is the force that will attract something to another magnetic object. So for example, when we think about this magnet, what's bringing this together, ladies and gentlemen, just like this? Magnetic force. We talked about this before. We have a North Pole and a South Pole. So if we were to put 2 North Poles together, just like I'm going to do, watch what happens. See how it automatically flipped around? If I have it like this, see how it just flipped? So north and south is what's needed, because north and north would repel, south and south, same thing. All right, let's go ahead now and open a can of soda. Watch this. I love that sound. I haven't drank soda probably in over 30 years. So I'm going to pour this, and notice the carbonation, which we learned from another video. I think this is why I like soda so much, not because I like to drink it. I just love that feeling of the carbonation. But you can do the same thing with seltzer. So you don't really need to have sugar water, which is what I call it. So now I'm going to take the same amount, 6 paper clips, drop them in there. All right. You can't really see them, can you? I'm going to take one of my magnets. First of all, nothing's happened with the one magnet. I'm going to take a second magnet here. It's moving through there fine. The viscosity is different, obviously, in the soda, but it's still moving okay. I mean, this did a lot better because the water had really nothing blocking it. The soda has a little bit blocking it. If I add another magnet to this, you'll see I need maybe a little more force. If I use 2, it moves, but not quite as well as when I use the 3. Let's go ahead now and try some canola oil. Incidentally, cooking with canola oil is a lot healthier for you than using regular oil. So we're going to pour the canola oil into this last tumbler. Okay. And we're going to take our paper clips and put them in there, all 6 of them. All right. I'm going to take our magnet. They're moving, but you can see they're not really moving much with this. I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 magnets to my piece. They're moving, but they're not moving well. 3, they move a lot better here. Why is that? Well, because the viscosity is getting blocked in the oil. So the water was the best, the soda was a little bit worse, and the oil was even worse. Now what we're gonna do is something interesting. We're going to create a little mixture here. We're gonna take some baking powder. No, we're not baking a cake, in case any of you guys are wondering. Put that back on. All right, so we'll give that a second just to... All right, so we've got that in there, right? Now, if I'm gonna take my magnet, nothing's happening with the one magnet, is it? Let's try 2 magnets now. Well, it is starting to move, but it's still hard to move through it. And as this is starting to become more firm, the 2 doesn't work so well. Is it starting to gel more? The 2 isn't doing it. And if I move up with this, the 3 is having a little trouble. If I bring 3 in, watch how much easier the 3 come right in, right? So this blocks a lot more viscosity than, so the water was the best, soda was the second worst, the canola oil was the third worst, and the total worst was the baking powder. So viscosity has to do with, in English, the force that will actually allow something to flow through. So if something has more viscosity, like water, the object is going to flow very smoothly through it. Like if you have a motorboat and you like to go on the ocean or on the bay, if there is a lot of viscosity, the boat will move through very well without a lot of waves. If there's not a lot of viscosity, you're probably going to hit some turbulence. It's not going to be smooth. Just like if you're beating eggs and whipping them up, if you have low amounts of viscosity, great, right? When you're starting, but then as you move it out, you want to have higher levels. So you might have to turn your beater up higher, or if you're doing it by hand, you have to use more force. So in order to overcome viscosity, you have to have another force. So that force can either be magnetic, which is what we're doing today, or that force could be more friction, if we're talking about like some type of a motor or something of that like. Thus, today, we learned the power of magnetic force. We also learned a great word, viscosity. So if your life seems like just doesn't have enough viscosity and flow, look at what you're doing. Look at the why to what makes you do it, and then figure out if you have the right tools online with you, and then you'll be able to flow. Remember, our energy flows where our attention goes, and when you choose the right tools, there's no limit to what you can achieve. I'm John, the Science Guy. Thank you so much for popping by. Be sure to like the channel, comment below. Science is cool. Magnetic force is awesome. And yes, velocity is more than just a way of life, and so is viscosity. Viscosity is the major factor that can actually propel us backward or stop us in our tracks, like with friction. And also smash that bell notification icon, click on the subscribe button so you'll get notified instantly when I post new content about science. And of course, click on that PayPal link below, help keep our content free, and make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, today to buy my team and I a cup of coffee. Have yourself a great rest of your day, a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you in another video real soon.